Hey family, welcome back to Reclaiming the Throne, where we celebrate the Black visionaries who've shaped our world. If you're new here, make sure you like, subscribe, and tap that bell, because today, we're diving into the life of artistic royalty. Before Kehinde Wiley painted Obama's portrait, before Kara Walker cut her silhouettes, before black art commanded millions at auctions, there was a crown-drawing kid from Brooklyn who changed everything. Jean-Michel Basquiat, the king who wore the crown. In the art world of the 1980s, dominated by white artists and white perspectives, a young black man with wild hair and wilder ideas exploded onto the scene. He didn't just participate in the art world, he conquered it. His paintings now sell for over $100 million, and he paved the way for generations of black artists who followed. Yet beyond the price tags and museum plaques, who was Jean-Michel Basquiat really? What made his art revolutionary? And why, decades after his death, does his work speak louder than ever? Born in Brooklyn on December 22, 1960, Basquiat was the son of a Haitian father and Puerto Rican mother, a heritage that would deeply influence his art and worldview. This wasn't some silver spoon childhood. This was Brooklyn in the 60s and 70s, a place of vibrant culture but also struggle and transformation. From an early age, Basquiat showed extraordinary talent. His mother took him to museums across New York City, nurturing his creative mind. By age 4, he was drawing constantly. When he was hit by a car at age 7, his mother brought him Gray's Anatomy during his hospital recovery, a book whose detailed medical illustrations would later appear throughout his work. But Basquiat's path wasn't smooth. His mother struggled with mental illness, and he ran away from home multiple times as a teenager. By 17, he had dropped out of high school, becoming part of New York's downtown scene at a pivotal moment in the city's history. This wasn't the glossy Manhattan of tourist brochures. This was New York in the late 70s, economically devastated, crime-ridden, but artistically explosive. Punk rock, hip-hop, graffiti, and new wave were all colliding in the clubs and streets of Lower Manhattan. Basquiat first gained attention as part of the graffiti duo Samo Copyright, alongside his friend Al Diaz. Samo Copyright wasn't about traditional graffiti tags or elaborate murals, it was conceptual, poetic, and provocative. Their cryptic messages appeared across Soho and the Lower East Side, signed with the mysterious Samo Copyright tag, short for same old shit. Samo Copyright as an end to mindwash religion, nowhere politics, and bogus philosophy. Samo Copyright as an alternative to God. Samo Copyright saves idiots. These weren't just tags. They were philosophical statements that made people stop and think. They caught the attention of the downtown art scene. By 1979, the Village Voice had published an article about the mysterious Samo Copyright, and Basquiat was ready to emerge from anonymity. When Samo Copyright ended in 1980, marked by the message "Samo Copyright is dead" appearing across the city, Basquiat was already transitioning to canvas. He didn't have formal training. He didn't follow rules. He painted on anything he could find: doors, refrigerators, and scraps of wood pulled from the street. His style was raw, urgent, and unlike anything seen before. Words, symbols, and crude figures filled his canvases, layered with furious energy. Skulls, crowns, and anatomical drawings became his signatures. This wasn't controlled or safe art. This was expression that couldn't be contained. By 1981, at just 20 years old, Basquiat was included in the landmark New York New Wave exhibition at PS1 Contemporary Art Center. His paintings stood out even in a show packed with the downtown scene's brightest stars. The art world took notice and Basquiat's rise was meteoric. Within months he was selling paintings for thousands of dollars and being courted by major galleries. By 22 he had his first solo show at the Anina Noce Gallery, selling out before the exhibition even opened. This wasn't just artistic success. This was a revolution. A young black artist from Brooklyn was now commanding the attention of an art world that had long excluded artists of color. Basquiat's work wasn't just visually revolutionary, it was deeply intellectual. His paintings are packed with historical references, from ancient Egyptian imagery to jazz icons like Charlie Parker and Dizzy Gillespie. Text appears throughout his work, sometimes crossed out, forcing viewers to consider both the presence and absence of information. "I cross out words so you will see them more," he once explained. "The fact that they are obscured makes you want to read them." His art confronted racism head-on. Paintings like Irony of Negro Policemen and Undiscovered Genius of the Mississippi Delta explored black identity in America and the country's history of racism. He painted black athletes and musicians as modern-day kings crowned with his signature three-pointed crown, a visual reclamation of black excellence and power. In Defacement, The Death of Michael Stewart, he responded to the death of a young black graffiti artist at the hands of transit police, a brutal reminder that even as his fame grew, racism remained a deadly reality. In 1982, Basquiat met Andy Warhol, beginning one of the most famous artistic collaborations in modern history. Despite their differences, Warhol was 32 years older, white and established. Basquiat young, black, and rising. They formed a deep bond. They worked on dozens of collaborative paintings, with Warhol typically beginning a canvas and Basquiat responding to it with his own imagery. These weren't just artistic exchanges, they were conversations about commercialism, race, and American identity painted directly onto canvas. Their 1985 exhibition of collaborative works received harsh criticism, with some suggesting Warhol was exploiting Basquiat's youth and talent. The criticism hurt both artists deeply, and their collaboration and friendship cooled. When Warhol died unexpectedly in 1987, Basquiat was devastated. Friends reported that he believed he would be next. By this time, Basquiat was wrestling with both unprecedented success and its dark side. His paintings were selling for hundreds of thousands of dollars. He appeared on the cover of the New York Times Magazine in 1985, becoming the face of the 80s art boom. But success brought its own challenges. The art world often viewed him through a racial lens, exoticizing his primitive style while ignoring his intellectual depth. Critics called him a wild child and primitive, code words with deep racist undertones. "I was a really good artist, but they're trying to pin me in with all that primitive stuff," he complained in one interview. He was aware of being tokenized, once saying, "I'm not a black artist, I am an artist," yet he never stopped exploring his identity and history in his work. As his fame grew, so did his struggles with addiction. The pressure to produce, the art world's exploitation, and personal demons drove him to increasingly self-destructive behavior. Friends worried as his heroin use escalated. On August 12, 1988, Basquiat was found dead in his Great Jones Street studio from a heroin overdose. He was just 27 years old. A brilliant light extinguished far too soon. But death couldn't silence his voice. In the years since his passing, Basquiat's work has only grown more powerful and prophetic. The issues he confronted, racism, inequality, exploitation, and cultural appropriation, remain painfully relevant. His influence extends far beyond the art world. Hip-hop artists from Jay-Z to Nas reference him in their lyrics. His imagery appears in fashion collections from Supreme to Uniqlo. In 2017, his painting Untitled sold for $110.5 million, the highest price ever paid for an American artist's work at auction at that time. The young man who once sold handmade postcards on the street for $1 now has his works hanging in the most prestigious museums worldwide: the Metropolitan Museum of Art, the Museum of Modern Art, the Whitney, the Broad, everywhere. But beyond the auction records and museum placements lies the true power of Basquiat's work. Its raw honesty about America's history and present. In just 8 years as a professional artist, he created over 1,000 paintings and 2,000 drawings, each one a chapter in his unfinished story. Jean-Michel Basquiat wasn't just an artist who happened to be black. He was an artist who used his blackness as a lens to examine America's soul. He forced the art world to confront its own racism while creating works of undeniable power that transcended categorization. "I don't think about art when I'm working," he once said. "I try to think about life." And what a life it was, brief but incandescent, creating light that still illuminates our world today. The crown he painted so often wasn't just a symbol, it was a prophecy. Decades after his death, Basquiat wears the crown as American art royalty. The tragedy isn't just that Basquiat died young, it's that we're still fighting many of the battles he illustrated on canvas. Police brutality, structural racism, cultural appropriation, the consumption of black creativity without respecting black humanity. When we look at a Basquiat painting today, we aren't seeing historical artifacts. We're looking at mirrors reflecting our present reality. So what can we learn from the king who wore the crown? That raw truth is more valuable than polished lies. That disruption can lead to revelation. That black stories belong in every gallery, museum, and history book. And that art can force a society to face the truths it tries to hide. Hey family, thank you for watching. If this resonated with you, hit that like button, share this video, and definitely subscribe for more stories of black excellence and power. Next time someone tries to tell you that black contribution to the arts is limited, tell them about the king who wore the crown, Jean-Michel Basquiat. Reclaim your heroes, reclaim your narrative, reclaim the throne.